Hey, so welcome to, I guess it's Take Action Tuesdays again. It was Wicked Wacky Wednesday last week, and it's Take Action Tuesday this week. And the theme this week is, if this ain't nice, I don't know what is. Now, if this ain't nice, I don't know what is, isn't my idea. I can't take credit for it. It actually comes from a guy named Kurt Vonnegut. And Kurt Vonnegut is one of my wife's favorite authors. And Kurt suffered with PTSD, a big chunk of his life. Of depression, a big chunk of his life. He may have had PTSD. He served in World War II as a private, as a soldier, and he wrote the book Slaughterhouse-Five. And but that saying is, if this ain't nice, I don't know what is. And it's kind of, for me, it's a really nice theme to go into the Christmas season with. You know, 2020 is. There's enough media about 2020, the year that wasn't, or 2020, the year from hell, or 2020, whatever they're saying about it. But the reality is, you know, at one point in March or April, I was walking home. We work and live about 400 meters apart. Our office is about 400 meters from our home. And the sky was so clear, and the street was so quiet. In that moment, you know, I thought to myself that if this ain't nice, I don't know what is. And Kurt Vonnegut actually said that this single saying probably saved his life. That in the worst of times, he would look around and see his experience, look at what he was seeing around himself and say, if this ain't nice, I don't know what is. And so here we are a couple days before Christmas in the year 2020, and where I live, I don't know where you're watching from. We've got some people who join us from Europe and United States and other places. But here in Ontario, we're going to go into lockdown on Boxing Day. Kind of an oxymoron. We'll go boxing. We're going to get locked down on Boxing Day. And so the specter of children not going back to school in January is certainly real. And the specter of some of our businesses being shut down yet again is certainly real. However, when I go home, you know, I've got 3 little kids and my beautiful wife. And if this ain't nice, I don't know what is. And I think about, what is it when we're unhappy with our life? What are we really unhappy about? And in our world, in the NLP world, we say that our focus drives our behavior and creates our results. So if I'm focused on what I don't have, chances are I'm going to miss what I actually have. Chances are I'm not going to see, I'm not going to hear, I'm not going to feel, I'm not going to experience those things that I have, the amazing things I have. And so if focus drives our behavior, then when I'm focused on what I don't have, my behavior is probably one of wanting. And you know, we don't have a 4-car garage. We don't have multiple cars. You know, we don't have a bunch of toys hanging around. That's what we don't have. But what we do have is we have a beautiful house, and we have 3 little kids. I have 2 grown-up kids. You know, so I have 5 kids in total. And we have animals. We've got, you know, an old cat, a medium cat, a kitten. We've got some bunnies. Got a couple fish around just for fun. And we have a Christmas tree, we have gifts, we have friends, we have family. Now, we're not going to be able to see some of the friends and family the way we normally get to see them. But we're going to get to see them. We're going to visit them, or we're going to arrange to go past their house and drop off gifts and pick up stuff. And if that ain't nice, I don't know what is. If that ain't nice, I don't know what is. And so this is our last Tuesday of this year. We'll come back, we'll be live again in the new year. And I think it's important. It's important because COVID, I was hoping that COVID would be in decline. I was hoping, and I wasn't waiting for a vaccine, please understand this. I didn't believe that the vaccine was going to save our lives. I wasn't waiting in isolation for a vaccine. I believe in the human spirit. I believe in the human capacity to overcome to adapt. And I think that in the end of the day will be how we get past COVID. But right now, I actually felt that this Christmas would be better. And so here we're facing this second wave. I hate even using the words, but we're in a second wave, and we're reacting to it. And even though there is a vaccine that's out and people are getting vaccinated, they now say in Europe there's a new strain of COVID, right? A new strain has emerged that even is more infectious. They're not talking about the mortality rate from it, but they're saying there's already a new strain. So COVID's already morphed, which is no surprise because it's part of the cold family. Coronavirus is part of the cold family, and you know and I know that the cold and flu morphs every year. It changes, becomes something new every year. And despite the flu shots, right? Flu shots have on average about a 50% success rate or less. Because it's a bit of a guessing game, you have to create a flu vaccine to meet what you don't know. So you're guessing based on the possibilities, the combinations, the permutations. So here we go. So we're already in the second season of this thing called COVID, and it appears that there's an adapted strain. And somebody said to me that I don't know who these people are, they said, I don't know who the they is, that they said that the vaccine will work on this new strain. I don't know how anybody would know that already. And I just feel that we need to learn to live with a new disease around us. And we need to learn, and we need to work on us. To work on us. I think we need to look at, for me, what I'm experiencing here this is a wake-up call that between our lifestyle, our high stress, which creates adverse chemicals in our body, the high demands we put on ourselves, the low rest we get, and even though we have access to the most nutritious food in the world, many of us don't eat very well. You can tell that by our weight issue, that obesity and overweight. Being overweight is an epidemic in our societies. And when you start learning about how a cold and flu impacts somebody, that when it gets inside, it creates an immune response. And COVID actually, for those people who are dying, if you do the research, it actually creates an autoimmune response where your body overreacts and continues to react. And in this autoimmune response produces hyperinflammation. And that what comes with this autoimmune hyperinflammation response is a thing called cytokines, a protein in your bloodstream. And the literature actually says it's a flood of cytokines. And a flood of cytokines can shut down organs. And I think about who might be susceptible to something that would, so that's why they talk about immunocompromised people being at risk. And I think about the people in group homes who aren't getting a lot of exercise. We picked up a piece of research that in a process of screening people for finding the correlation to who gets sick and what is their profile, that there seems to be some correlation to the deficiencies in vitamin D. So again, none of this is science. Nobody's came out and said any of this definitively. What they are saying definitively is you have to wear a mask and social distance, but they're not giving any suggestions to doing things to take care of ourselves. Joe Dispenza in his research proved unequivocally that people can change their health in 4 days of meditation. They can change their chemical. They can actually change their genetic expression in 4 days of meditating. I don't know about you. I haven't heard Rob Ford say a damn thing about, Rob Ford's the Premier of the province, for those people not in Ontario. I haven't heard him say, Rob Ford say it. Premier Ford has not said a damn thing about meditating. And he hasn't said a damn thing about taking vitamin D. And he hasn't said a damn thing about, neither is Prime Minister Trudeau. Hasn't said a damn thing about how you might take care of your health. And I haven't heard anybody, any politician, say anything about how to take care of your health, how to take care of yourself. And in fact, those people who have advocated taking care of themselves, to some degree, have been blackballed or unlisted, taken off the internet, which is amazing. You know, then we go down a whole rabbit hole. We can't end child pornography on the internet, but if somebody is outspoken against the system regarding the pandemic, they can get wiped off the internet instantly. So I don't understand that, why we can't put an end to child pornography when we can just block anybody we choose. How is that possible? But that's I digress. Yeah, so what can you do to take care of yourself? What are all the things you can do to take care of yourself? You know, and I'm one talking head right now, but if anybody wants to talk to me, I'll sit down and I'll give you reams and reams and reams of sources of information that talk about the power of positive thinking. Now that saying's been around forever, or the power of contributing to others, being in service to others. John F. Kennedy Center researched how people who are in service to others, community service, how they are less impacted by diseases and recover faster. That literature is published, it's peer-reviewed, it's rigorous. The literature on meditating, breathing techniques at improving your health is absolutely hardcore science. The work of people like Joe Dispenza, when you get into the background, into the neuroscience he understands and that he uses, and the research they do, and the people he does the research with. He doesn't do the research per se, although he is a researcher. This is hardcore science. If you, Bruce Lipton, hardcore scientist. I should remember Nassim's last name. I should get my phone and Google him while I'm talking. Hardcore researcher. People who talk about breathing techniques. Now, I'm a fan of Wim Hof, but he's not the only one. There's lots of people who do breathing techniques. Lots of people. And so there's ways to take care of ourselves. There's things we can do to be healthier, to just take care of ourselves, to be less at risk. And the funny part is, all of them make us healthier and happy. All of the things that we do to take care of ourselves make us healthier and happier. None of them make us grumpier. None of them make us more irritable. None of the techniques that make us healthier make us are painful. Except, you know, if you're going to go for a run and initially running is painful, well, yeah, that could be a little bit painful, but it's painful in the most beautiful way for anybody who wasn't exercising and started to exercise and went through the pain of exercising and then got to experience the endorphins that come with exercise. You know, Tara, my wife, was not a runner. She's not a runner, and then she literally has found the joy of running. She got through that period of running where running is just discomforting, and she actually ended up buying a pair of bad shoes, which caused a little bit of an injury. Now she's bought proper shoes and she's back running. And it was interesting that when she got injured, she was, I don't want to say desperate, but she was adamant that she needed to find the cause of the injury, heal it, and get back running. It would have been an easy thing to say, no, I don't run, see, it's too painful. But she'd already got through that barrier. She was already in the part where the exercise was producing happy. You know, just give it a name. It was producing happy. And any of you who have ever done that, who have gone from being sedentary to being outdoors to being active, know the beauty of being active, that feeling. It's kind of like the feeling you get when you go skiing in the winter and you haven't prepared. You come home, you're stiff and sore, but you're stiff and sore in this most magnificent way, right? So what's my point? My point is the things that make us healthy make us happy. And the things that make us grumpy make us unhappy. So, you know, I think there's a choice right there. I think, you know, I don't want to belabor the point, but happiness is a choice. That research is unequivocal. If you go on Netflix and watch the Happy documentary, those researchers nailed it. They nailed it. So here we are, it's Christmas, and we have choices to be happy, to focus on what we have, right? And some of the routines you can get into, so, I'll name names. Lynn McTaggart in The Power of Eight. I didn't know about it, guys. I didn't know anything about her work, but I listened to it and I was intrigued by it. And there's a woman again. Now, I would give that book to some of you. Unfortunately, some people who are close to me. And you'd say, oh, that's just pseudoscience. They make a living selling books. That's my brother's line. My brother was suffering with heart disease when he was 54, and I sent him the Dean Ornish book. And asked him, what did you think of Dean Ornish's work? Now, Dean Ornish's work has been researched and is legendary for helping people overcome heart disease and other things. And my brother said, well, Dean Ornish makes money selling books. Yeah, well, your heart surgeon makes money cutting you open. Just pick who you want to pay. You want to pay a guy selling books that gets you healthy and happy, or do you want to pay the heart surgeon who cuts you open? That's your choice. Where was I going with this? Where was I going? It doesn't take a lot of effort. Lynn McTaggart's book so moved me that concept of being in service to others, to just give unconditionally for a brief moment every day. And by brief, I'm talking 10 minutes. And so I said, if this ain't nice, I don't know what is. I'm going to try it on. And so I invited some friends into a morning group. 6:30 in the morning, and some of you are rolling your eyes already. 6:30? I can't get up at 6:30. But none of us in this group are morning people per se. One person is an early morning person, the rest of us aren't. And some mornings there's 8, and some mornings there's 10, and sometimes there's 15 or 18 get together. But at 6:30 in the morning, we spend a minute just getting into a state of being grateful. And then we focus our energy, we focus our minds, and send a positive intention to somebody who only one of us in the group knows because we've recommended them. And sometimes it's not even anybody in the group knows because they've been recommended into the group. And for 10 minutes, we focus on the intention that they be well. Or if they're challenged financially, that they have financial abundance. And it's anecdotal. This is not science, right? We cannot test this unequivocally. But every person we focused on seems to be doing better based on the anecdotal evidence we're picking up from the people in the group. But the people in the group are all doing better. I'm doing so much better. The last of my osteoarthritis pain left 3 days after I started this group. One of the women in the group who has struggled with sadness, extreme sadness and weight gain, has lost well over 30 pounds since we started the group. She's optimistic about her life, about her future. She hated the winter. She went out and bought winter pants. She's going walking out in the winter time. Right? 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Do you have 10 minutes to save your life? I don't know. I don't know what your answer is to that. Wim Hof breathing is 11 minutes. Now, why would you do Wim Hof breathing? Well, because in research, and if you want the research, text me, email me, I'll send you the research reports. Wim Hof breathing creates a balance between the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system. The sympathetic nervous system that allows you to deal with danger, extreme risk. But the chemicals that do that, the chemicals that you produce when you're dealing with extreme risk, aren't healthy to have in your system long term. They'll cause problems. And yet we're all living in this stressed up world. We're all focused on COVID. We're all focused on our lives being changed. And we're all producing a cascade of these negative emotions. Your parasympathetic nervous system produces a different cascade of emotions that are regenerative, that they create life, that they create happiness. And Wim Hof's breathing technique has been proven to put the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system in balance. Wim Hof's breathing combined with cold exposure, which he's an advocate of, exposing yourself to your cold, in combination with meditation, has been proven to affect 3 chemicals that are part of your immune system, increasing interleukin-10, which fights inflammation, and lowering interleukin-6 and 8, which create inflammation. And that's research done through reputable organizations in approved research methodology. How long does it take to meditate? How long does it take to do Wim Hof and meditation afterwards? 22 minutes. So you can lower your inflammation, you get balance between your sympathetic, your parasympathetic nervous system, you can boost your immune system, and you can do it all in 22 minutes. Man, that's 22 minutes well spent. If that ain't nice, I don't know what is. So here we go. I'll put a bow on this. It's Christmas. I'll wrap it up and put a bow on this. It has been, and it continues to be my intense pleasure to do the work we do. Tara and I have stumbled being a euphemism for 60 years of wandering the planet, doing what I wanted to do, where I wanted to do it, with whom I wanted to do it with, and being a voracious learner through the whole process. I stumbled into this area where we can help people who are struggling. And so it's our intense privilege to be there, and we're respectful of the opportunity that we have. And while I say that, I'm becoming also more militant, more aggressive, more assertive, certainly around the area of trauma. And part of that assertiveness is building trauma teams. So 2021 is a shift for me over and above what we do every day. I'm building trauma teams, and these trauma teams will be trained to do what we do in the modalities that we do it in that have high success rates, greater than 92% success rate with no recurrence. So 2021 is a year of opportunity, expansion, brilliance. COVID or no COVID, doesn't matter. COVID or no COVID, it's going to happen. Tara continues to increase her knowledge base as she studies her PhD. And so we're grateful. We're grateful for the opportunity. We're grateful to share. We're grateful for the feedback we get from people. We're grateful for the opportunity to learn from others. Every time we teach, every time we interact with somebody, we learn something. So we're totally grateful. And this will be the last Tuesday. I'll see you, anybody who's joining me every Tuesday, we'll see you on the January 5th at noon. We'll be live on January 5th. I'm not going to do it next week. And I just want to close by saying, you know what? If this ain't nice, I don't know what is. And I'm grateful for Kurt Vonnegut for coining that phrase, because it's a brilliant phrase. I hope everybody has a beautiful, beautiful holiday season. I hope you choose to see it as nice, to see it as wonderful, see it as warm. If you're struggling, you can always reach out. Just go to Inspired Outcomes, look for Ellen Canerva and reach out. If you're struggling, we're here to talk, we're here to help. And if you're interested in joining a Power of 8 group to send positive intentions, reach out to me as well. And I welcome you with open arms to join our group. All right, so signing off for this year. Yeah, there you go, Mira. Epic 2021. You got it. You absolutely got it. And remember, if this ain't nice, I don't know what is. Take care, everybody.